So today we are with Adela Zaharia, one of the most important international sopranos nowadays. She is currently singing Traviata at Teatro Real, and she has sung many of the most iconic roles: Lucia di Lammermoor, Traviata, Constance, and among many others this year. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Having a day off and preparing for our upcoming live stream mentally.
That's the 19th, yes. And you will also sing tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow 16th is a show, then on the 19th, and then my last one is on the 21st of July.
Great, excellent. Are you excited about the...
I am excited, but also a little bit terrified, because I'm not used not being in control of like what I produce, and then when you have microphones, a lot of trust goes into other people's hands. You know, you have to trust them to put your voice and your acting and everything in the best light, basically. You know, because you have the cameras, you have the microphones, you have the montage, and you know, us as opera singers, we are just used to step on stage and have full responsibility of what we're doing. You know, you are responsible for how you sing, how you act, how you impress the public, how you touch them, and as in emotionally. And you know, with a live broadcast is very, very different.
I mean, the broadcast is all like in Spain, all
yes.
around Spain. Like
yes.
Everybody will be seeing
yes,
it.
And people are writing me internationally from all over the world that they're very disappointed that it's not going international.
Yeah,
they all are asking me how can they watch it, and I was like, I don't think you can. Honestly, it's just for Spain.
They need to subscribe somehow. I think you can't watch it like on TV or something. Well,
I don't know.
Let's try to check it. Right, so let's go for... So, Adela was born in Romania. Then, around 24, you moved to Germany.
Yes.
Then, 5 years later, after singing many iconic roles, you won Operalia competition, 2017. Then, in Düsseldorf, you sang iconic roles such as Lucia di Lammermoor, Traviata, and then you brought them to the main theatres. Yeah. Amsterdam, Berlin, here, Madrid, yeah. Metropolitan with Musetta, and in Italy and everywhere. Right, so, but let's go to the very beginning.
Yeah.
So, the first time you were offered the main role, what were your impressions, or how did you feel? what you felt?
Well, I was offered my first important roles, because I was offered a main role when I was in the Young Artist program in Komische Oper.
Okay.
I was there for 2 years, and honestly they put a lot of trust in me. Like, they gave me roles like Michaela or Helena in A Midsummer Night's Dream. They gave me Musetta there. So for a young artist, those are important roles, and are roles that they are not usually given to young artists. But I think they just, I don't know, they figured out that I can handle it. And also when I was in the studio, I was given my first Pamina. My first Pamina right. in the iconic Barry Kosky production, the one that has been touring around the world, including in Teatro Real.
Yes.
And that was the first very important moment for me. And of course I was slightly terrified, but also very, very determined, very ambitious to do the best that I can. And then after that, I moved to Düsseldorf, where the casting director was... He was very, very good and had a very good ear and new repertoire. He was a pianist, and he's the one who told me the exact repertoire that I should be singing, because I wasn't. I was singing a lot of lyrical, and he was like, no, you have the highs, but you're not like one of the light coloraturas. You have a good middle range, so what you have to do is lyric coloratura. And they offered me in my first year there, first Constance,
okay,
and then Lucia. And it was, of course, it was a huge gamble for them and also for me, because I didn't even know if I can do it. Of course I said yes. I was a young artist that had nothing else, no other opportunity, no other offers. So of course, do you want to sing them? Yes.
Let's do it.
And we'll deal with it as we go, you know. And I do remember after my Constance debut, I do remember that the casting director came on stage to me to congratulate me, and I looked at him and I said, that was a huge gamble you took. That was a huge gamble. He looked at me and was like, why did you say that? I was like, well, I wasn't sure I can sing these roles. He was like, well, I was. And I'm like, okay, that's sweet. So yeah, that was the beginning of my path on the main roles, the prima donna roles.
Yes. And for example, like growing up as a prima donna, well, prima donna, and how was it for, like, how was life living with your family and with your friends and having to cancel special occasions and betting all your parts to this career?
Well, you know, in the first years, first of all, you are so busy trying to figure out your technique, trying to gain experience, trying to figure out everything, how to deal with the stage, how to deal with fatigue, how to use your instrument, how to survive it mentally, you know, all the pressure, all the stress, all of that. So yes, the first years were definitely not easy. And I do remember that number one priority was getting enough rest, sleeping, which I had big problems with because I was so stressed and my brain was constantly wired.
And you were in your 20s, like everything was a roller coaster.
Yes. So yeah, that was the first years, and I do remember the number one priority was resting, practicing, doing coachings, and the truth is, yes, I sacrificed a lot. I did sacrifice a lot because everything else had to come after, and there were plenty of weddings of, you know, best friends or family that I couldn't attend because I was having a show. There were plenty of, you know, important events that I could not attend because I had a show next day and I couldn't get my voice tired. So there were, I would say about 5 years of very hardcore sacrifices. And seeing my family back in Romania, because as you mentioned, I was living in Germany already. I would see my family in Romania just once a year in the summer break when I could go and be there for 2 weeks.
It was missing Christmas and everything.
Oh yeah, of course. Like the most important performances are around holidays.
Yes, true.
The most important performances are
common.
Yeah, around Christmas, New Year's, Easter. You know, so no.
Yes.
Zero.
Will you say now you're used to living abroad during Christmas? For example, Musetta in Metropolitan.
Yes.
That was during Christmas.
It was after Christmas.
Oh,
Christmas
right.
I got to do with my family in Germany because part of my family lives in Germany now. So that was nice. And then for New Year's I was in New York with my boyfriend, with some friends. So I think I'm embracing more the exciting part of it now, the interesting part of it, you know? It's like, yes, I'm not home to do New Year's with my family, but I'm in New York with people that I see, you know, once every few years, and
yeah, making the most of it.
Yes, exactly. There's a nice part to it too.
And another question, like about you, as regards your beginning. Was there any B plan or set plan or any kind of plan saying, if this goes wrong, what could I do?
Okay, what you need to know about me is that this career that I'm having was not expected, was not foreseen. I never expected it, and I have a feeling that also my teachers back in school didn't expect it because I didn't have a natural voice. I didn't have a natural stage presence, and I was terrified of stepping on stage. I had horrible stage fright, and of course that stage fright would ruin everything that I was working on for the entire year in the classroom, you know, in the coachings and all of that. So it did not look promising, honestly. And this is why it's now being here and doing this, it was a very long process. It was a very difficult process, I have to say. And I think my only luck is that I'm extremely stubborn, and if I know I can do something and if I know I have something to show, I will keep working at it until I'm ready, you know, because so many people would have been discouraged in the first years and would have said, I'm not cut for it, I'm too stressed out, the voice is not what it should be, my stage presence is not what it should be. But for me, it was a constant challenge to keep working and improving. But that was the big parenthesis, because thinking that I will never have a career in this field, I was always thinking I should switch for foreign languages. Because I learned in school English and French, and then I learned privately Spanish because I just love, you know, the culture and the language and everything. And that was always my idea. I was like, I should do something with languages. I should work, I don't know, maybe in tourism, translating, something. And every time, because I did want, like, every few years I was very decided that I should give up. And then that was the first thing I was thinking about. Yeah, I should go and focus more on the languages part. But then, I don't know, something would happen and I would keep going at singing, and here we are.
Okay. So, for example, let's talk about anyone that could be listening to us and who is a professional singer and who has a terrible day, terrible week, terrible years, and who is thinking about quitting, is thinking about surrendering, giving it up. Would you give any pieces of advice apart from keeping working and believing in the dreams?
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of both. You do have to keep working and believing, but you also have to be realistic. And I think for me, for myself, I would draw the line when this doesn't make me happy anymore. Because my very strong belief is that happiness is the most important thing in life. And you should be doing what makes you happy, and you should be doing what offers you the mental state and the atmosphere that you want to have in your life. There are people who let ambition come first, like in the detriment of their happiness or mental health or all of that, and that I would not recommend. So I'm like, okay, you have a difficult day, you have a difficult contract, you have a difficult year. Oh my God, yes, we do have that. And yes, those are the moments where you have to
be strong,
pull yourself together, and know what you're fighting for.
Yes.
Know what's your motivation, know what you want from this, and where you want to get, and what you want to achieve. The thing is, if you sit with yourself and think about all of that, and realize that even if you get past this difficult time, and it will still not fulfill you or make you happy, then you need to reconsider.
All right.
So I'm a big fan, a big supporter of people pursuing their happiness and their well-being. So also for me, because I'm with all the sacrifices and the negative parts of our lifestyle, because there are plenty, and people don't talk about it enough. People just post the glam and the happy moments and the bows and the applause and all of that, but that's
it's like 10%.
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps.
And I always said when I come to the point where this doesn't make me happy, I will leave it. I will leave it, and I will take with me all the good memories, and I will take with me all the good times. But I'm not going to sacrifice my life. We have one life,
That's
Why
true.
why spend it being miserable?
That's true. And just waiting for people to have their approval or to say,
Oh yes,
we like you, and it's okay, yes, but who are you in terms of, and you need to,
Yes.
we only live once, as you said.
Yeah.
So, enjoy. Let's go now, for example. Okay, so what do you have to do once you've been rehearsing for a whole month, not being paid for the rehearsals, flying to, I don't know, the other corner of the world, renting a house, going to rehearsals, sacrificing your life, not seeing your people, and then you get a call and you need to cancel, you need to call off all the shows. What you do, how to get over it for people who do, I don't know.
Those are some of the worst moments that could happen to a singer, because as you said, financially you're investing a lot. You're investing in flights, you're investing in housing, which in all the cities where we sing is insanely expensive.
In the city centre.
Oh yes. And so it's first of all the financial investment, the financial risk that you're taking, and then there's also the sacrifices that you make of being by yourself for a whole month, not spending the time as you would want to, because you have to be in good shape and you have to be healthy and all that. And then it just randomly happens that you get a virus from a person that you maybe served you in the restaurant,
Yeah.
And the worst case scenario is that you end up canceling the whole run. Depends on how many performances there are, how close they are to each other, or you just cancel a few until you recover. None of it is ideal, none of it is pleasant. I have come to the point, but of course as a young singer or in the beginning of my career, I didn't afford to do it. I didn't afford to have the mindset that I have now. So I'm extremely grateful that now I'm at the point where if I'm that sick that it would affect my performance completely, and it would either leave the audience frustrated or would leave me possibly doing harm to myself, long-term harm, vocal cords, you know, and to take me much longer to recover from it.
Yes.
Then I just cancel. I put health and well-being in the first place. And of course it's so difficult. It's so difficult because you have so much responsibility, and you do have a lot of pressure that people put on you, even if not intentionally or not in a bad way, but there are the people who are traveling from different countries to see you, and they're writing you, they're saying, it's 10 persons coming from Spain to see your performance in Berlin.
You
and
feel
I'm like,
the pressure.
of course, because you feel like you're responsible for it, and they've made that travel and they want to see you, and you're cancelling. So you have that, and then you have the theater that of course would like to have you, because that's why they engage you in the very first place. And they will try to push you every time. They will try to push you and convince you to sing. And so it took me a very long time to accept and understand that I have to do what's best in the long term.
Yes.
And I have to do what's best for both sides in that moment, even if people don't realize that in the moment. And you know, sometimes the audience is very upset and is frustrated and they're very vocal about it. But in my mind, I'm like, you wouldn't want me to be on that stage tonight, you know?
Yes.
When I say I'm sick, please believe I'm sick, because when I'm just like half sick,
Yes, of course.
I'm gonna be on that stage,
Yes.
just like I was here, the two performances, one after the other, and
Yes.
no one knew, and I didn't make an announcement because I was like, it's not that bad that I need to affect their evening.
I'm doing Rigoletto. It was the same.
No. There was also now with Traviata.
Yes.
So with Rigoletto last time, with Traviata
Yes.
now also I've had 2 performances when I was sick. But that's the thing, like if it's not absolutely necessary, I will not talk about it, because I
Yes.
don't want to affect their evening and their mood and the atmosphere. But that's what I'm saying. If I'm cancelling, trust me, you would not want me to be on that stage, because I barely cannot produce any sound, and
That's it.
all of that, you know. So, but yeah, and that's one of the parts of a singer's life that, again, people are not talking enough, because there's so many risks that you're constantly taking, and there's so many things involved, and this is one of them, you know. You invest your money, your time, your energy, your voice, and then sometimes, in worst case scenarios, you end up having to cancel the whole one, and you just go home and try not to, you know, fall in the pit of depression, and try to think optimistic and to think forward and look forward to the things coming up.
Yes. And there's something the audience might not know, and it's not only surviving one day singing, but if you sing sick, what happens the following day?
Yes, exactly. If you sing sick, it takes an enormous toll on
You
your
feel
on the vocal cords,
Yes.
on the vocal cords first of all, but also on your whole body. As we all know, when you're sick, the best thing you can do for yourself is stay home, rest, medicate, and try to recover as soon as possible. That's in any other job. In our job, it doesn't work. So you know what's happening to a sick body when you're trying to put in a 3 hours effort, and you know, like the highest level effort with adrenaline rushing to the body. You're forcing your voice, forcing your body. And the funny thing is, very often, in my case, it's not even the chords that have to suffer if I sing when I'm sick. It's everything else, like behind the nose, throat, chest. It immediately goes on my chest and I start coughing, you know? Because that's the body doing an effort that is not supposed to be doing when you're sick.
Yes, you're going beyond your limits.
Yeah. And this is why very often I talk to the administration. I said, look, I am sick. I know how it usually goes. I know myself very well. It takes a lot of awareness. Like, I know what to take depending on where and what I feel. If it's here, it's a certain type of treatment. If it comes here, it's completely different. If I feel it here, panic. You know? So this is what I'm telling them. Look, I know myself very well. I have all the medicine I need. I always travel with my own personal pharmacy.
Yeah, first aid.
Obviously, with my own pharmacy, because it's stuff that it's already proven to be right for me and for my body and for those situations. And I say, I need this much time to recover. I'll come back and I'll be good for the rest of the run.
Yeah.
If you absolutely need me to sing this show, just be aware it might get much worse, and it might mean that I will have to cancel after. So let's discuss and let's decide what are the priorities. It's so much.
It
It's
is.
so much planning and so much awareness and so much. How do you call it? Managing the damage and
Yes.
damage control and
Yes,
it's
balancing,
insane. Oh,
balancing
God.
drawbacks and
There's
advantages.
so much thought that goes into this
Yes.
lifestyle. So much thought and so much planning, and yeah, this is why my brain is all the time.
Okay, let's go to your brain before a show. Do you
Yeah.
have any kind of ritual, or do you? That's something you do every single time you go on stage.
I'm not the ritual superstitious kind of person because I feel like if you have rituals and you cannot complete them, that makes you anxious, worried, afraid, and I don't want to be the slave of a ritual. That was my decision from the very beginning. What I do know I need in the day of a performance is a lot of sleep. I am a big fan of sleep, and it's one of the best things you can do for your voice. To recover, to rest, all of that, sleep and water, and silence. And this is why I try to sleep as much as I can. I will very usually wake up. Wow, my English.
Around 10
I will
hours
very
or so.
often. I will very often wake up around noon. And then have a big meal, but that's another thing. Like you want to have a big healthy meal, but you cannot go overboard because then it affects your stomach and you have an acid reflux.
Yes,
so that's another
that
thing.
affects your voice.
And
Unless you need to be somehow light before a show, also.
yeah.
You
That's
can't
the thing.
eat,
But if you eat at around 2, you're gonna be light by the time of the show. So, and then during the show, I usually have snacks with me, a lot of snacks, because my singing, for some reason, I don't know, it's just because that's how I am. I'm a pretty intense person, pretty intense, but it's worth it. It's fun.
And especially with Traviata, with Violetta.
Especially with
You
Traviata.
need to be intense.
Yeah, exactly. It's my rep. It's my rep.
Is your life going on?
Yeah. And this is why I need to have snacks with me, because I consume so much energy, so much body energy, and I've learned this through the years, because in the beginning I didn't realize, and there were times when I felt like I'm about to faint on stage. Literally about to faint.
Well, in your roles, it's normally the case.
Yeah, but at the right time. Not too early.
Yeah.
So I realized that I do need snacks. So I always have pastries
Nuts
with me.
No.
For me, nuts
It
are
doesn't work.
because of the oil.
Yes.
It goes on the cords. I'm like, no, nothing, no. Banana, pastries. I do have some little like dextrose with magnesium, which helps. And those I always have with me. And so you could say that's a ritual.
And to drink water.
Yeah, just water.
Right.
And then I avoid coffee because it dehydrates. So, and another nice thing before the performances is the time you spend in the makeup chair.
All right, talking
Because
on your own.
No, while the makeup is being done to you, the makeup and hair done on you.
The transformation.
Yeah, the transformation it's a very important time for me, and this is why I appreciate all the makeup artists that are, so understanding and so attuned to us, and they give us good energy and they give us peace and all of that. And there are performances when things are not going as usually, because for example you need to put on microphones and it takes extra time and it's more complicated, and microphones for the broadcast.
Of course,
yeah. I mean, no one likes that. No one likes that.
No, it's an inconvenience.
It is an inconvenience, and you feel it when you move, and it messes a little bit with your mind. But
and you're paying attention that it doesn't fall into the floor or whatever.
Yeah. Of course.
It's an inconvenience.
It is.
Okay, so we were talking about people not being able to breathe not being on stage in the audience, and with you on stage. And so this is an experience you can only have coming to the opera, not in any other concert where you sing, you jump, so that's a good opportunity to come to the opera. What pieces of opera extracts or whole opera would you recommend to anyone wanting to be introduced into the world of opera?
Oh, well, I actually think that two of the most important things that an opera newcomer could watch are La Bohème and Traviata.
Okay.
Because they are both stories of intense young love. There are both stories that people can relate to one way or another. You know, the young broke friends who are living these intense love stories, and then life happens, and as I said, we can all relate to that. We can all relate to love and loss, and I have to say they're also both La Traviata and La Bohème. They are some of the most touching stories and some of the most gorgeous music that you can hear in opera. And I feel that they're also like easy to follow, the storyline. So yeah, if I would bring new friends to the opera, it would definitely be one of these two.
So we do know when Bohème will come, but Traviata is now on, so
Yes.
you need to come.
Bring your friends!
And for example, this is about making an influence to people to come to the opera. But what about you? Did anyone influence your career in your family, or who did you take it from?
Well, the funny story is, in my family there weren't any musicians before my generation. Like, nothing to do with music, nothing to do with arts. A very humble, lower mid-class family, you know, that had to work for everything and had to struggle. And then all of a sudden my sister, who's 10 years older than me, she started taking private music lessons when she was already in her teenage years, I want to say. And that's what drew my attention to it, and that's why I asked my parents if I could go to the music school, because in Romania it's specialized music schools, you know, so it's not like normal school and you do music extra. You can do that too, but we have specialized music schools where you have in the morning like 4, 5, 6 hours of normal subjects, you know, general subjects, and then in the afternoon it's all music theory, harmony, piano, or whatever instrument you choose to play. And that's what I wanted to do, and I did. And then my brother, who's 5 years younger, followed the same school, and he's a conductor now. And my nephew's playing the cello in the Philharmonic of my hometown now. So yeah, this was the beginning of music in our family.
And you started with piano?
Yes, I started with piano, and I started piano for 16 years.
Wow.
Maybe that's why I don't touch it now.
Fair enough.
I have had enough.
Fair enough. So, and have you influenced anyone, any relative or anyone?
Well, you know, my brother coming after me, and then my niece and nephew. My niece decided to go on another path eventually, but she also did like 12 years of music. My nephew, as I said, is playing for the Philharmonic, and there's a lot of people that are telling me that they were influenced outside of the family, you know, which is always nice, always kind. There's people, it's just like, for example, it's a recent one where he started as an opera fan, you know, but then we got to know each other and we are friends and we keep in touch, and he told me that him and his partner just named their daughter after me, because they hope their daughter, you know, and it's touching, of course. It's very touching and very, very sweet, because you don't think about all these things when you're doing what you're doing. These are just, you know, they come after. And as I said, singing was not the plan for me, was never the plan. I never thought this would be my path. But once it became, I have to say that one of the personalities that I looked up to most was Virginia Zeani.
Okay.
Because I loved not only her singing and her artistry, which was incredible, and people need to know more about her, need to hear her more and listen to her recordings more, but also the personality.
There are quite a few, because her career was... But she was... I mean, was she contemporary of Callas or more Callas?
She was.
And she passed away 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes, she passed away recently, and for me, very important is the personality that she had. I had the luck to be in touch with her over phone. We never met because she was already in her retirement home in America, and I was, you know, very busy here. But we were in touch over the phone, and every discussion we've had was so touching, and she was so genuinely interested in me, and she was so genuinely happy for what was happening to me. And my manager at the time was one of her closest friends. This was the connection, and she was so happy that, you know, I'm having good management and someone is looking after me, because she was talking about, you know, the difficulties of the career and how brutal it can become and how important it is, not only the singing, unfortunately. And yeah, so she is one of my constant inspirations, and I'm constantly thinking of her, and I'm thinking, you know, I want to make her proud, and especially as a how do you call it, co-national.
Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
she was
Yes.
also Romanian, so that's very very special for me. And another two very important inspirations are Musetta,
Yes.
because we are singing now. I am singing, trying to sing a lot of the repertoire that she did, and she did it so fabulously. And she had a technique and a voice that for me is
Yeah,
it's
the voice
goals,
was beautiful.
yes, but also technique.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of technique.
Her pianissimi were like,
Yes.
I think the best in the world.
Yes, and not only the
Famous.
pianissimi, the legato, the phrasing. It's so special. And as I said, I don't know, maybe that sounds strange, but I respect more a person who is intelligent and has developed a brilliant technique than one that just, you know, has
Has
everything
it.
from the nature. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
yeah. So this is why I admire a lot of technical singers. I admire a lot of technique, and this is how we come to my other very important inspiration, who's Mariela de Villa.
Okay.
So she's also like
She's now retired.
yes, but technique, the
Yes.
technique that she used, and the how much thought was going into her singing. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. And it's funny because I always have to try to control myself, because as I said, I can get a little bit intense, especially on stage.
I was going to talk in Spanish. Right. Okay, so due to technical inconveniences, we've changed camera with phone, but let's carry on.
It's
life,
man. It's life.
Life is about keeping calm and carrying on.
Exactly like in live performance.
So, after our performance, we were talking about the ways you can be affected positively by family, by anyone outside from this world or in this world, as Serani, Cavalier, and De Villa. But now let's talk about the ways you can be negatively affected by critiques or reviews you read after the show. And so, how do you respond to these critiques?
I have a tendency in life to try and learn from everything that's happening around me. And that applies to reviews too, critiques and reviews. I know there are singers that never want to read critiques. They say they don't matter, it's not important to them. A critique will not make or break your career, but you can use it as a tool for you to evolve and develop. So I'm going to say, of course, there are critiques where like the title of your aria is not even written correctly. So that makes me think, okay, how much does this person actually know about opera? But there are critiques where they go into details and they're talking, about, yes, okay, fabulous singing, fabulous acting. I wish this sound wasn't like this or was like this. And then makes me think. It makes me wonder and think, is this person right? Could it be? Because I don't hear myself from outside. I don't record myself. I don't record every rehearsal, every performance. So I rarely actually hear myself. I have to rely on feedback. And then it happened when I went to, for example, to the staff in the opera house, and I was like, I just read a review that said, that sound was a little bit peachy, it was a little bit over. Is that the case? And then they go and say, yeah, it is a little bit. And the thing is, I didn't know because I didn't hear it. And I'm like, Why didn't you tell me? Why no one told me? They're like, well, it's not our place. I'm like, yes, it is, because we don't hear ourselves.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean. You can learn a lot. Or it did happen when I thought that I'm pacing myself well, and then the critique was like, everything was too much on the safe side. We would have loved a little bit more risk, a little bit more, excitement. And then I do think, I'm like, well, is that so? Could I sing it or act it more interestingly without having anything to lose or risking everything? So this is what I mean. It's a little bit of input from the outside that can help you if you're interested in it, if you want to learn, if you want to evolve, and if you have the right mindset for it. Because for some people it's just too much. For some people it's too much to deal with that criticism. But then on the other side, we are working, and we're being in a field that is extremely competitive, highly competitive, and it is about high performance. So you cannot expect going into this field and not being criticized. You will be criticized non-stop for the rest of your life. So you better make peace with that, learn how to deal with that, learn how to turn it into something positive and something to help with your development. Because otherwise,
yeah, you need to detect what is relevant, and what is actually
yes.
truthful, and then
Yes,
take
and
the
that's
negative criticism
Yes, because
for a positive.
first of all, no one is perfect. There were some perfect ones, in the history of opera.
But they also make the mistakes.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. You cannot expect to go into this field and not be criticized.
Of course.
What would the level of opera be then? Like, what would the level of the performances if no one could ever criticize anyone?
Yes, and also once you come live to see something which is going on, every time we see something live, we love everything that is not improvised, but anything that might come.
It's part
see
of
how
it.
you sort it.
Yes, it's part of it, and also that's a reason why people keep coming back to the opera, and they keep coming
comparing each show.
Yes, comparing the show. I've had people that have come to 10 performances out of 13 with the same cast, same title, one performance after the other. I mean, that's high. No, not even just opera fans.
Right.
Opera fans, But and that's what I mean. That's what they want to see, the difference between every evening, to see how the singers are developing, if they're going to do better with every show or not, because also fatigue can be a factor. So it's part of it. It's part of it, and it's a very much alive and ever-changing field.
Right. So you need to come to watch Traviata. And before we move to what's going on and what you will be singing, let's go to okay. Is there any role you have? I mean, you have performed in concerts, but you haven't been given the opportunity to sing in an opera house yet, and then you say, "Come on, I want to sing it."
There is, and it's coming, but I cannot talk about it.
Right.
So it is things that I have either only thought about, or things that I have tackled in concerts, and now they will be coming as full production. It's just that I cannot talk about them until.
We need to wait.
Yeah. What I can say is that my repertoire will very much continue to develop on the bel canto side, which I love, and I feel that it's the right side.
Yeah, it suits you.
Yes. So I will be approaching the queens, the Tudor queens, and I will be approaching more unknown titles, more opera rara. Also some of the titles that are very much in demand, but they're not done as often. So I'm very excited for all of that. There's so many role debuts in my future, which is very different to the past 5-6 years where people kept hiring me for the same things.
Yeah.
Which, sure, I love it. There are all roles that I absolutely love, but
you need to move.
Yes, you need to move. You need a challenge. So yes, with my management, we're very much looking into new repertoire and exciting repertoire, and I'm going to touch a little bit also French repertoire.
Well,
I have 2 role debuts coming up.
You did Michaela at the beginning.
I did. But these are even closer to my rep and to my fach. So I'm excited for that, and That's basically it. We are looking into moving forward also in Verdi, the next Verdi titles, but without going too far, because that's with a voice. If you want to have a healthy career, and that's what I want. I don't want to have I don't know the word in English. I don't want to have.
Yeah, but to be really, you could say to be how to say. I was thinking of the word too. Come on.
I don't want to, I have one. So I honestly don't want to have like a bombastic career that goes for 5 years with all interesting roles, interesting theaters, and then it's done. My goal is to have a healthy career. My goal is to say goodbye to singing when I want to, not when my voice cannot handle it.
Yeah.
And my number one priority has been and will continue being singing everything I do at the highest level possible.
Yes.
So this is why I'm very careful with the roles that I accept, with the timing when I accept them. I'm never gonna rush into
No,
into
you
roles.
force your voice.
I've had people coming to me and offering roles and giving me examples of other people my age who are doing them, and my answer is that.
Thank you for the comparison.
Yes, I'm like,
We appreciate
I
it.
don't care. I really don't care what others are doing.
It's a way of putting pressure on you, like
a little bit.
this person is doing so well. Thank you.
No, it's like, I think you can do this because this other singer did it too. And I'm like, yes, but I don't want the career that the other singer has.
And you are different.
I want my career to have other parameters, other priorities, other
and
standards.
what works for someone might not work for you and the other way around. Maybe expanding the repertoire for someone and becoming more lyric or something might work for her.
Yes. No, this is what I mean. I'm very, very picky and very careful with my repertoire, and I think that has been so far like the
Cavalieri
the main
did that.
Yeah.
There's an interview and she talked about how important it was for her not being really, I was going to say pretentious, but not pretentious, but want to be really
selective.
Yeah, selective, and you need to.
Yes. Selective with what you're singing, where you're singing, when you're singing. That's the recipe for a healthy career.
WH questions.
Yeah.
When.
Yeah.
And now, is there any opera house that you haven't performed yet and that you would like to perform?
Oh, well, there are the
you
top.
have performed in many.
There are the top opera houses in the world.
That.
Yes, I still have to have my debut in Staatsoper Berlin, which is coming next season.
Okay.
And another one of the important ones is La Scala, who's also coming in the future. Not going into details, but I'm very happy, to start working also more in Italy. And honestly, there are a lot of theaters that, even if they're not like in the top 5 or top 10, they're wonderful, and they either have a great atmosphere there, or the audience is known to be fabulous, and that's basically the next step. That's basically the next step. After you've ticked everything you needed to tick to have a solid, good career, then I think you can start doing more things, like for the pleasure of it, for enjoying everything that you're doing.
That's the goal of working to make people enjoy, but also to enjoy your own process doing something.
Yeah.
And for us to enjoy you singing, you will be part of Rigoletto in San Francisco Opera next season.
Rigoletto is the opening of the season.
Then you will be in Vienna with Lucia and something else that you can tell us?
Yes, it's my theater debut, so another big theater that I'm adding. It's Vienna State Opera. First with Donna Anna in Don Giovanni, and immediately after with Lucia. So 2 productions, one after the other. I'm very excited for that.
And then what else? Can we say something else?
I'm having some Traviatas in Deutsche Oper Berlin, production which I've done before, and I'm very happy to go back to. I'm having some Lucias in Italy, but I don't think they have announced it yet.
Right, so
yes.
Italy in general.
And then I have a Traviata production in Dresden, Sempre Libera Dresden, which I'm very, very happy to go back to, because it's a production that I had to cancel. It was a new production, which I built with the stage director, and I built.
We know the metaphor.
She came with a fabulous concept, and it was a wonderful atmosphere, and I felt so good and so happy to develop in that production. And then I had to cancel like 1 week before the opening for health reasons, what we were talking about.
This happened.
Yeah. But I'm really happy that I get a redo, and I get to go back to it. It's going to be very, very emotional.
And that is Traviata, and now Traviata until the 21st for you, 23rd with the other cast, wonderful cast that you're working with. And actually 16th and 19th, the day of the broadcast, you will be singing with Xavier Anduaga.
Yes.
And then the 21st, you will sing with Ivana.
Yes.
Ivana.
Yes.
And great, fantastic. So what can we say about this production? Why should people come to see something that was first performed She said 2008,
5.
2005.
I think it has exactly 20 years now.
In Austria, but in Salzburg.
In Salzburg Festspiele, yes, in the Salzburg Festival. I mean, for me, it's a very special one because I was actually thinking about it when I started rehearsals here, and I was thinking, what was I doing in 2005? And I was literally just starting to dip my toes into singing, starting to take lessons, starting to see what my voice can do, if it's something interesting, something for the future. And of course, when I was in the music academy, which I started 2006, in the conservatory, 2006 to 2010, they were the superstars. Netrebko and Villazon were the superstars.
Yeah.
And everything they were doing was, you know, the absolute height of the business. And especially this Traviata was so iconic, and it became so iconic, and we kept watching videos of it, and we were so impressed.
A lot of reviews, also negative reviews, because of the simple stage.
Yes. You know what they say, you're not chocolate, you cannot make everyone happy.
Of course, but well, in my opinion...
There are people who absolutely hate modern productions. There are people who absolutely hate traditional productions. So whatever you're going to stage, there will be people that will hate it.
Yeah, but to be fair, like we were talking about classics, and in this classic there are protagonists, and you need to know who these protagonists are. And you steal protagonists in becoming. Yeah. I mean, this stage direction gives like Alfredo, Germont, you have the main roles, and especially you.
Yeah, and it gives you the space to develop.
Yes.
And because you don't have the sets, the palace, the costumes. Yes, because you don't have any of that, it all becomes very raw. The emotion becomes very raw because you see a person on stage that is just like you, is dressed like you, could be dressed like you, hair open, So you can identify a lot with
nowadays. We run and we rush all the time with the watch, and you see the clock all the time. Every time you're happy, and you turn your sight and you see the clock, which is saying, no time left, darling.
That's the reminder. That's the constant reminder. The clock and the presence of the doctor, who is always there, but she's the only one who sees him. But he's always there to remind her that death is coming, and he's always there in her happiest moments to cut it off. And
as you said, we only live once, so we need to enjoy. You need to enjoy coming to the opera. As you said in Liviano, è un fior che nasce amore, and we need to enjoy it.
Yes,
absolutely. So do come to Traviata and
watch the live streaming if you can, if you're in Spain, if you have the possibility,
and enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Adela, for coming with us today. Yeah. And looking forward to seeing your future goals and future projects.
Thank you.
Thank you.